Hey there, Stock Navigators. Happy Monday to everybody. Jay Ayala here, the Stock Navigator noob. Just a couple of quick little things regarding just a few little updates. I'm sorry about the mess here in the office. I had a productive weekend, but I just still haven't had a chance to clean up. Got a haircut, shaved today, so feeling good. I kind of look good. So anyway, I had a good day on the market. I'm in a good mood. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's go take a look at some of this stuff, and then we'll get into the details of some of the trades that I made today. So starting off the morning plan, as you can see here, we've got we've got the market trends. It was all bullish except for the 1 hour and the 15-minute kind of went sideways. So I had identified my bull plan at one of the fib levels. I had identified my bear plan at one of the fib levels, and I kind of just stated, hey, if it's at this level and it kind of bounces and has a retest, then on the bull side I want to go up to target 1, target 2. If it does a retest on my bear plan, I want to go down target 1, target 2. So I had a little bit of a challenge with some of the trades today, but overall you'll see that I had a losing streak at the beginning of the day. My initial losses were kind of big, but then I managed my risk appropriately. At least I feel like it was appropriate. We're going to take a quick look at that here in a few minutes. But then you see that I caught one big winner that just set me off for the rest of the day. And then I stopped trading and called it a day. I'll probably go watch the market after hours, but for now I'm done. And let's get into some of those details. All right, so I'm probably gonna have to do this in a couple of takes, but I got to get this one down while it's still fresh on my mind. I want to share what's happened this morning. So this morning, as of right now, I'm currently down 56.25. What is that in points? Let's do that real quick. Let's figure out what the points are. Yeah, so I'm down 11 and a half points. So not doing so good this morning. Let's talk about what happened. All right, so looking back at what happened, as I was doing my morning prep at 5 a.m., I kind of came in and peeked as to what the market was doing at that point in time, but started doing my morning prep, laid out all my key levels, and updated my Fibonacci and all that other stuff like I typically do. Once I was done, I thought, okay, I can either jump in the shower now, or maybe I can kind of watch the trend as it's building up here, and then enter into a trade and then hit the shower. So what do you want to do? So based on the results from last week, which I was very excited about, I was excited to get into another trade. So I stayed instead of jumping in the shower, which turned out to be a mistake, as you can tell. So what was I seeing? What we're looking at here, this is, of course, the SN Vision. Now, SN Vision has this dynamic, I need to zoom out so that you can see it all. SN Vision has this dynamic institutional stuff that's going on. So it shows you accumulation, neutral, and distribution in going for longs. So these are dynamic, and at that time in the morning, the accumulation was identified, and I'm going to kind of illustrate it here. The accumulation was identified right along this narrow band right here. This narrow band over here was neutral, and then somewhere way up higher was distribution. So that's where it was at that time in the morning. So as I'm watching this descend, after I did my morning prep, I'm watching this descend, and I'm like, oh, there might be an opportunity to get in for a long. So I'm watching it drop into accumulation, and I'm thinking the institutions this morning, pre-market, of course, I'm thinking pre-market, the institutions this morning may want to make a move. So I'm watching the market, and then I start seeing bullish price action. I see this bigger candle of all the candles in the last, what is that? That's at 607. This one is at 644. So, it was almost half an hour, this candle was the largest one in half an hour. So I'm like, hey, that's bullish price action in the accumulation bar. This is probably going to start climbing up. So as you can see, the next candle is where I entered, and it went from, just coincidentally, it went from red to green. And I thought, oh, this might just be a sniper entry, right? Nope. The next minute I see a tiny little doji, and then the following minute I see this big thing, this big candle, bear candle. And then out of nowhere, the very next minute, look at this stuff, right? And this is the news that broke out at that time in the morning. Let me pull this over. So that one was Iran stops message exchange with the US. So when this thing hit the market, and I guess that's this bigger one over here. When this guy, I guess it was a tweet or whatever. Look at this. All of this stuff starts to just flood in, right? And then market drops. Okay. It slows down a little bit, but it continues to drop. And then it slows down even more. It pops back up for a second, and then it kind of peters out a little bit. So I'm looking at this next candle, and then the accumulation zone had readjusted down here, right? And I'm like, is this turning around? So then I see the next candle start to really push up, and then I entered in there. I should have just stayed out. I didn't like the risk that I had from the prior loss, so I made my stop loss very narrow. And as you can see, my stop loss was at the bottom end of the wick of the prior candle. So you can see where I got stopped out here. So 2 losses in a row, significant losses for me anyway. If we look at that time in the morning, it was this loss here at 22.5, which was the prior loss, and then followed by a $20 loser. And then I just decided, nope, I don't want to trade anymore until market open. So I just kind of jumped into the live stream and listened to what, of course, Cleve had to say about the market. And then we started, opening bell. And I had noticed that we come down a little bit further in this pullback, and then we started to climb out of that with some bullish price action here. So I entered into a trade with my stop loss further down below, and it was at the bottom of this wick of this prior candle. So I wanted to enter in with very little risk. I entered in down here. Market starts to rise, and it climbs up on this third candle right at the open, right? And then I'm like, I don't want this to go sideways on me anymore. So I moved my stop loss into break even, but the market pushed down immediately after that super hard, and I took a small half of a point loss. So I was like, oh man. Started getting discouraged at that point. A few minutes later, I'm over trading. I know. A few minutes later, I get into another trade. Again, bullish price action. I'm seeing it kind of surpass, and I'm thinking this is going to go and trend for a while and, make the targets. Make the targets back up, right? So this is where my bull plan is, way over here. My bear plan, rather. My bull plan is up here, and then I've got target boxes up here. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen, and that's not what wound up happening after all. So I got into a trade, and I started following my stop loss per the SN recommendations, the SN Vision recommendations. I got up to here. This candle right here, this one was kind of a fluke. It pushed down super fast, and then it popped right back up. I think it just bypassed my stop loss, so I didn't get stopped out here. But then, as you see, the market actually pulled back at this location, and it did take my stop loss right where SN Vision had the recommendation. So at that point, I've stopped trading. I went and showered. I talked to my beautiful bride, and then I came back to see how choppy it has been, and I just decided I'm just going to stay out until I see it trend one way or the other. I might enter later, but I just didn't feel very safe in this market. I still don't feel very safe in this market. I'm looking at the accumulation, the neutral, and the distribution. And from accumulation, it's down at 77, and distribution up at the top is 95. So there might be a 20-point swing at some point in the day. I'm hoping I can catch some of it. But anyway, it just, right now, as of 7:56 in the morning, I just don't feel safe yet. So I'll come back later and kind of add more to the video here. Okay, and we're back. All right, so took a little break from trading. It wasn't that long, I guess. It was like half an hour or whatever. But check this out. This is what happened after that break. So I saw the market kind of moving up. I missed this big size candle on the move up, which occurred at about 8:30 Pacific time. Missed it. But then I just kind of watched what was happening, the relationship between the bar line that you see there, the price action itself, and the stop loss recommendation. So I was keeping an eye on that like a hawk. So I was like, okay. At this point, I was like, do I want to enter it? At that point, it looked all green over here. The multi-time frame indicator looked completely green. So I thought it was a safe entry. I went ahead and entered here, placed my stop loss down here as per SN Vision recommendations. And then from this point forward, I just followed the SN Vision recommendation for the stop loss. I moved it up to here. And then about 10 minutes later, I moved it up to here. And then I got taken out at this candle here. Safe little trade. I didn't lose much in this one, so it's fine. I saw the market do a pullback down to this area down here, which was 87, 75, 87.50. And then I saw it start to pull away. Now, what got me excited was it went from red to green, which is an indication of a reversal. Okay. And then I saw my stop loss get changed from complete, so it disappeared here. The stop loss recommendation, when it's changing, when it's doing a change of character, the stop loss recommendation kind of it disappears. So there's no stop loss here in the middle. But then I saw two stop loss recommendation locations followed by another one. And to me, I'm trying to catch the trend as it's moving up sharply. When you see very few stop loss recommendations like this, it's an indicator. At least that's how I'm seeing it. So I immediately entered here. Again, following my stop loss recommendation from SN Vision, moved it up to here. Market kind of converged here a little bit, consolidated a little bit, and then I got this stop loss recommendation to move up again. I wish I would have stayed out of this one, but I'm just going to follow the stop loss recommendation. Market came down, the price action came down just far enough to touch that stop loss and get me out. But look, it survived the prior stop loss recommendation. So I don't know if it was worth it. Was it worth me, saving myself or moving my stop loss for this small amount of cash? Because I entered in at 97.50 and then I got out at 97. So I took trying to protect my, I wasn't even in profit yet. Trying to protect that, I wound up losing half a point. But the market immediately turned around there, right? So I don't know if it was worth it or not. I'm still learning this, right? So here's another entry that I took immediately on the heels of this. I saw that this candle pushed up a little bit, so I got in. My stop loss recommendation was where is it? My stop loss recommendation had gapped up a little bit, so I entered here. And then you can see two little dots here, and then it consolidated again. So I entered in at 701.75 and I got out at 325 for a little more than a point and a half, I guess. I entered in on another one. I thought what I was seeing is I thought I was seeing a touch on the bar line and then bounce, but that's not what happened. You can see I entered in and I lost a small amount here I lost half a point on this one. I'm trying to do small risk entries wherever I can. Part of it is practice, but you know, it didn't work out for me there. Then I got in over here again, small risk. I was going based off of the previous candle's low, the bottom wick of the previous candle. So you can see here, I got in at 705, and then here it wicked me out at 702. And then this was a complete fluke, but I caught this trade, this monster $120 trade or thereabouts. What I saw was the stop loss recommendation was down here, and then I saw it move up, and I decided, okay, I'm going to place a stop order just above the previous candle's high. When I saw this stop loss recommendation move up, then it was on the next candle. So this long candle was building when I decided, let me put a stop order here so that if this candle takes the high of the previous small risk candle, I want in. I placed my stop loss down here at the SN Vision recommendation, and then market goes boom, right? So this was, the high was 14, the low was 3.5. It was, what is that, a 10.5 candle? So then immediately on the heels of that, the market starts to do a pullback. I think what it had done is a bunch of people's stop losses maybe got wicked out here or whatever, and the market started pivoting, and then it anchored here, and then it started to climb significantly, right? So this big candle up here, I don't know what happened here. One of the announcements, I think one of them was Hormuz, and then on the heels of that, there was more breaking news on Forex news that said something like Trump accepted or whatever. So then another big candle on the heels of this one. So I did catch the majority of both of these moves. And then I had my take profit set up here. So it actually, the take profit limit pulled me out. And then I made one smaller trade thinking, oh, the market went up suddenly and then it came down and now it's rising again. So I entered in 2 candles later, and then I decided, you know what? It's not really worth it for me to chase more of this. So what happens if it turns around and goes back down on me? I don't want to give up more profits than I need to. So I wound up taking a little tiny profit here of 3/4 of a point. And then I just watched the market for the rest of the afternoon. And I think that was the right decision because as you can see, it just went sideways after that for, what was this? 10:55. So over an hour, about an hour and a half, it went sideways. And then it started doing this weird little march down and then sideways again. And then, here we are at market close over here. So, yeah, just nice little trading day there. I hope you guys had a great day of trading as well. I'd love to hear from you guys, whether it's comments on the video that I'm posting here or whether it's comments on Discord. All right, guys, see you tomorrow on the charts.